Is not too complicated.
Well, it's up to you to make it presentable
Okay.
to who's present, if you like.
Just chant quickly Jaya Radha Madhava. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. I am the replacement team. Last minute. Was not me scheduled, but
Thank you.
it ended up like that. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Gopi
Janavardhana Girivardhana
Gopi Janavardhana
Yasoda Nandana Raja Janaranjana
Yasoda Nandana
Yamuna Tira Madhava Kunja Vihar
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Jai Prabhupada.
Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki
Jai.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
It's until which verse? 26 through
Ask him. What verse, Ananda Vihari?
26 to
26 to 35, Prabhu.
Whoa. 6 verses.
okay.
Oh,
Tasmin
9 verses.
abhyudaye rajan rugmini rama keshav puram bujakatam jagmu samba pradyumna kadaya. On the joyous occasion of that marriage, O King, Queen Rukmini, Lord Balaram, Lord Krishna, and several of the Lord's sons, headed by Shamba and Pradyumna, went to the city of Bojakota. After the wedding, a group of arrogant kings, headed by the king of Kalinga, told Rukmi, "You should defeat Balaram at dice. He's not expert at dice, O king, but still he's quite addicted to it." Thus advised, Rukmi challenged Balaram and began a gambling match with him. In that match, Lord Balaram first accepted a wager of 100 coins, then 1,000
Wager.
wager, then 10,000. We don't know which coins, but Rukmi won this first round, and the king of Kalinga laughed loudly at Lord Balaram, showing all his teeth. Lord Balaram could not tolerate this. Purport: Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains that the wager consisted of gold coins. Prabhupada heard me. Lord Balaram inwardly became quite angry when he saw the gross offense of the king of Kalinga. He made fun of him, which was not very kind, because he lost, so he made fun of him. Next, Rukmi accepted a bet of 100,000 coins,
Oh my God.
which Lord Balaram won. But Rukmi tried to cheat, declaring, I am the winner. Though he lost, he said, I am the winner. Shaking with anger like the ocean on the full moon day, handsome Lord Balaram, his naturally reddish eyes even redder in his fury, accepted the wager of 100 million gold coins. It goes up quickly. Verse 32, Lord Balaram fairly won this wager also, but Rukmi again resorted to cheating and declared, I have won. Let these witnesses here say what they saw. Purport. Rukmi undoubtedly had his friends in mind when he called for the witnesses to speak. But even as his witnesses prepared to aid their cheating friend, a wonderful event took place, as described in the next verse. Just then a voice from the sky declared, Balaram has fairly won this wager. Rukmi is surely lying. Urged by the wicked kings, Rukmi ignored the divine voice. In fact, destiny itself was urging Rukmi on, and thus he ridiculed Lord Balaram as follows. Rukmi said, You cowards who wander about the forest know nothing about dice. Playing with dice and sporting with arrows are only for kings, not for the likes of you. That's 35. Om Ganati Mirandasya Ganam Janam Salakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmaya Shigurata Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutani Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Darati Swapadam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari
Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare Hare,
Hare Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Ram Ram,
Rama
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare.
Namo Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Prestaya Bhuta, Shri Mate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityananda. Namaste Saraswate Deve, Gauravani Pracharine, Nirvishesha Shunyavadi, Pashyata Deshataya. So the Bhagavatam is telling us so many different stories. I was not at all prepared to speak about that. So what do we see? Obviously here is a very bad mentality of Rukmi, who is just lying like anything. And it's obvious to everyone that he's lying because you're playing a game and you lose, everybody see you're losing. But he was so proud that he couldn't even accept that he was losing, and he was just telling, no, I won. Ready just to fight in order to show that he won. This is what, people of a very low mentality, when they find themselves minimized, then they want to fight in order to show that actually they are greater, because this is their desire. They always want to show that they are greater than others. So when we want to show that we are greater than others, that means we are actually very little mentality. And Rukmi was very bad in this concern. He was a very bad example. The Srimad Bhagavatam also giving us the understanding of what we should not be. This is a teaching by explaining the bad example, And when we read this, we don't feel inspired to become like this. We don't want to lie. It's so peaceful to be truthful. And it's such a bad feeling to be a liar. Those who are intelligent, they choose peace. They want to remain in peace and always speak truth. It's not easy to speak the truth always. It's very easy, like quickly easy to say lies or to hide the truth sometimes. But on the long term, it's very problematic. And it also generates a bad feeling within our heart. Everybody in the world, don't think that those who are lying, they are happy, having a nice life. They are always tortured by their lie. They may be billionaires.
And it doesn't please Krishna, it doesn't please the Lord.
That's why, because Krishna is in the heart of everybody. So when you lie, Krishna, who is living in your heart, is not happy. And then you will feel that. And you will have to live with that. You will have to live with the person who is present in every atom of everything, not being happy with you. And that's a heavy weight to carry. Oh my God. Whoa. So some people, they choose to lie in this life in order to become very rich or very famous. Not that everybody rich and famous is lying, but nowadays a lot of people become famous and rich, and everybody wants to become like them, but they don't know how they became like that. And actually they are tortured by their lie. It's so much more beautiful to always speak the truth. Like Adi. Adi is always speaking the truth. Yes, I can.
By Prabhupada's grace.
By Prabhupada's grace, Adi understood. We have to always say the truth. It's hard sometimes, but you become free by speaking the truth. Satyam eva jayate, and then you become victorious. On the long term, you're sure to be victorious. If you say always the truth, you'll never be defeated. Because Krishna, who is in your heart and who is everywhere, is with you. Yes. Truth is always victorious.
In the age of Kali, the pillars of religion, mercifulness, austerity, cleanliness, and the last pillar is truthfulness in the age of Kali.
Yeah. Adipurusha Prabhu is making the point that in the age of Kali, the only pillar of religiosity that remains is the truth. And
shaky.
I have a question here.
yes,
I mean, I know I agree with you about the truth, but what about the situations like what they call the white lie, where if you're honest, you'll offend somebody? Like, you know, like telling somebody, oh, you look ugly today, or I don't like your haircut, or stuff. I mean, are there situations where maybe you have to lie a little bit?
that's not a lie. This is kindness. We have to be. Yeah. If you're not saying to someone you're ugly, if you feel this is just kindness. It's not a lie. You're not obliged to say every. First, we should not think that. That would be better to correct our thought. But yes, of course, we are not fanatics. We are not fanatics. So we say the truth with the big T, you know. That we always say. But in everyday life, sometimes we have to not say the truth. If it is for a good cause, then that's okay. Because what makes the real thing is the, how to say, is the intention. If you, with a good intention, if you don't say the truth, that's good, because the intention is good. And if with a bad intention you say the truth, then that's bad, because the intention is bad. It's the intention that makes everything, whatever you do. Like, in everything in life is the intention. If you have a good intention, you cannot make mistakes. Even though you may seem to make mistakes, they are not mistakes, because your intention was good. If I want to make you, to tell you something nice, and I tell you something, but it ends up not being nice for you, still it's not bad from me, because my intention was good. I'm just not very good at being good. But the intention is there. So that's very important intention, because everything in life is based on one thing. We are to develop love. Bhagavatam is here to help us develop love. Krishna is here to help us develop love. So this is the highest goal, and we always have to go toward developing love. And telling the truth is good to help us developing love. But if it, at some point, it goes against this, then the truth is less important. So this is a learning. Our heart is now, how to say, our heart is now sick. We have a disease of the heart. And our heart is diseased of a lack of love. He's empty of love. He doesn't know how to love. He doesn't know even what is love. They sing this, no? What is love? That was this song. Nobody knows really what is love. So we're reading the Bhagavatam to learn what is love, what we're supposed to develop, how we have to dovetail our consciousness, how we have to reset our heart in order to learn again how to love. This is very important teaching, the most important teaching in life. That's why once, when a journalist asked Prabhupada, what did you came to bring? And Prabhupada said, I came to bring what you forgot. And he was meaning love, because you forgot what is the essence of life. The essence of life is love, real love. And that you forgot that. Because of this, everybody is suffering in the world. But this is the remedy, and it's a free remedy you can give to everybody. And it works in all situations, no matter what is your problem. Actually, Prabhupada said, we have only one problem, not many, many problems. We have only one problem. Our problem is that we don't have love for Krishna. And then we don't have love for everybody also, because it goes together. The only way to be able to love everyone is to love Krishna. When you love Krishna, then naturally you also love everyone, because you understand everyone is connected to Krishna, and Krishna also loves everyone. So you cannot love Krishna if you don't love everyone. It goes together, because Krishna loves everyone. And they say, if you love me, then love my dog. Krishna has unlimited dogs. He loves everyone. Krishna loves the butterflies, he loves the bugs, he loves the flowers, he loves the trees. We have to love all of them also. Then we can claim that we are a devotee of Krishna and that we love Krishna. Because I cannot claim that I love Krishna if I don't love everybody who Krishna loves. That's the remedy for life. And we are here in this world in order to learn this, how to increase our love. Prabhupada says in the Nectar of Devotion, it's like a pebble. When you throw a pebble in a lake, it makes some waves. Ripples. It makes some ripples, like growing circle. And Prabhupada said that circle will keep growing and growing and growing and growing and growing until it reaches the limit of the lake. And Prabhupada uses that example to say, in the same way, the tendency to love is there within the heart of everyone. And that tendency will never be satisfied unless it reaches the limit, which doesn't exist. There is no limit to love. The limit of love is to love Krishna, the unlimited. So unless we reach that state where we are able to love everything and everyone because we love Krishna, our tendency to love will never be satisfied. So we will never be peaceful. But when we can experience that love, then we will be completely fulfilled. Because that's the nourishment of the soul. The only thing that can satisfy the soul is this pure love for Krishna. It has to be pure, unconditional, not waiting something in return, just loving, even if the person in front is not kind. Still we have to love. So love is something we learn. The gopis, they asked to Krishna, what kind of lover are you? There are three kinds of lover. There are these people who love those who love them. And they are good, they are fair people. There are people who don't even love those who love them. And there are people who love even those who don't love them. Which kind of lover are you among these three? They were expecting that Krishna is a person who is not loving even those who love them. This was an indirect reproach they were making to Krishna, because they misunderstood Krishna. Why Krishna was speaking ambiguous words to them, telling them they should go back and they should not stay with him. But actually he was just teasing them. He wanted to show to the world what was their love. But when they understood that, they realized that Krishna was not bad. Instead of this, Krishna is loving everyone, even those who don't love them. There are so many people who don't love Krishna. Still Krishna loves them, no matter what. Krishna will always love us in every condition. No matter what we do, Krishna will love us. It's a good foundation we can be sure of. Now we should not use that in order to do anything and everything, thinking, okay, Krishna will always love me, so I can do anything and everything, even bad thing, Krishna will always love me. Yes, that's true. What if I'm playing this game, then I'm just cheating myself by not allowing me to respond to his love and just ignoring his love. That will not stop his love, but that will not allow my love to awaken in response. And the best thing is actually to respond to love by love, and then a new life starts. When we start to understand that actually Krishna loves us and Krishna controls everything, then that means everything that happens is good and has the only purpose of making me grow in love. Everything that happens in our life. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says this. He says, "Oh Krishna, since I have taken shelter of you and I accept it, you know that you are everything and everything is your mercy. Now I see only unlimited happiness coming to me from all directions." Because that's the formula, If we accept that everything is the mercy of Krishna and is the expression of Krishna's love for us, in order to teach us how to grow in love. And Krishna would never stop that, even with the gopis who are with him in Vraj. He is still teaching them to go further and further. But when we accept this, then life becomes pure bliss. It's not easy to accept it because it goes against our tendency. We have developed the opposite tendency, which is to ignore the love of Krishna, or to be, how to say, insensitive to his love. Since so many lives have been like this, now we have to revive that sensitivity and to respond to that love. Then life will become absolutely wonderful, and it will be only purely from the morning to the evening an experience of love. This is Prabhupada's formula. And then gradually we will realize who is that person who can have such a love like Krishna. Because we can't imagine who is Krishna, because we have a very limited capacity of understanding what is love, very limited. We don't realize how love can be beautiful and how love can be unlimited. But this we have to learn more about Krishna. And the more we will decide that, okay, from now on, I will accept that and I will respond to everything as being your expression, an expression of your love, then from that day on, the experience of love will grow for us forever. And every day it will become bigger and deeper and more beautiful. Every day will be a more beautiful day than the previous day. And Krishna will make it sure that every day will become better than the previous day, because that's his life. Krishna lived like this because Krishna accepted that nature, that's his nature, to have unbounded love and to I'd say Krishna
Ever increasing.
yeah, ever increasing love, and Krishna accepted to become also bound by love. It's not only that we playing some, how to say, fair play, but if we can love back Krishna, then Krishna will become bound to us. We can catch Krishna by loving him. So love is the greatest power that we have, because with that love, with that power, we can catch the absolute inside our heart. Okay, the time is coming to the end. So if some of you have some questions. I don't hear any questions. Manuel has a question.
Please come so they can hear you.
Speak to the camera.
It's like Vasudeva has a question.
Hare Krishna, thank you for giving class. My question is I'm wondering if you could elaborate more on what it means for us to love Krishna in kind of our day-to-day and also our internal mood.
Okay, I can elaborate.
Yeah.
So what it means to love Krishna? First, there are many aspects of love. First aspect is gratefulness. We have to be very thankful for his love. And second thing is when we want to love someone, we want to know about that person. And because Krishna is 100% love, the more we know about him, the more we will love him. Because we will be more and more fascinated by him. And also something important. You were asking what is two? I want to be precise in my answer. Your question was?
Like the mood, the internal mood to cultivate or aspire.
To cultivate that love. So the internal mood is what we call the separation. When you love someone, then you start feeling separation from this person. Loving means you can't be separated from someone. So loving Krishna means we can't stop thinking about him because we don't want to be separated from him. And we feel bad when we feel disconnected from Krishna. So that feeling of separation is actually the necessary connection with Krishna. When we feel separated from Krishna, then we are always with Krishna. It takes this form because unfortunately we are not enough with Krishna. So how to be more with Krishna and how to love him more is by starting to feel the lack of his presence. The more we will be able to feel separation from Krishna, Srila Prabhupada says, the more we will progress spiritually. This is the secret of progress, to feel separation. Unfortunately, we may not feel enough separation from Krishna. So every day we have to add a little bit of, and we should remind ourselves, do I feel some separation from Krishna? And if I don't, that means I have to reconsider my mood. If we do this, then our love will grow. But also by chanting Krishna's name, by hearing about Krishna, then our love will grow. Because Krishna is love. And in contact with love, then you become impregnated by love. Hold it. Yes, Prabhuji.
I was just saying, how do you get that love?
How do we get that love?
How do we get the love?
Yes. We get the love of Krishna from those who love Krishna. Sadhu Sangha is the birthplace of love, or bhakti. We say bhakti, but bhakti is another word for saying love. It means devotion, but it means actually loving devotion. Only devotion is not bhakti. Bhakti means loving devotion. So we are the bhakti center, means the center of love. And the bhakti center should be a place where we feel love when we come. And we learn how to love more. And from the bhakti center, which is should be the epicenter of love in Manhattan. And from the bhakti center, love should spread. Yes. So by coming in contact with those who love Krishna, then we will develop love, because love is contagious. More contagious than COVID-19. Or I don't know how much. Any kind of COVID, any kind of disease, love is more contagious. If we are exposed to love, our heart will be touched. Nobody can not be moved by love. Love moves people. Like Jesus, he had so much love. Even the people who wanted to kill him, they were moved by him. They were surprised. But they didn't associate it with him long enough, to be completely transformed. But they were surprised. So if we develop love, that will also help other people to develop love. And if we want to get more love, then we should try to find those people who live in love. When we see this person, we should think, we should try to be closer to them. Then we will be infected also. That's the way it develops. It takes birth by associating with the sadhus, those who carry this love in their hearts. And reading Bhagavatam is also associating with the sadhu, because Shukadev Goswami is there. So we don't speak only about physical persons, but books are persons also. They are living. What we read in Srimad Bhagavatam is reality. It's not a book, it's a person who is telling us about some other living persons. And the name of Krishna is also not the name of Krishna.
I'm falling asleep all over the place. Wait a moment.
No problem.
I'm sorry, please excuse me.
What was I saying? The name of Krishna is also a person. So when we chant the name of Krishna, the name of Krishna is a person. It's not a mantra. We say it's a mantra, it's for the public, because if we say the name of Krishna is a person, it's too much for them, they cannot understand. So we tell them it's a mantra, and you repeat that mantra, then you'll feel better, like a formula. But it's not really true. It's not a mantra, it's a person. And if you chant the name of Krishna, then you come in contact with that person. In the beginning you don't realize, but you do. And then gradually you realize more and more that you come in contact with the person. And then you really realize that inside this name there is actually a lot of love. And by chanting this name, because the power of the name of Krishna is that it will also infuse love in our life. A lot. It's very powerful to transform our heart. That's why Prabhupada would just say, just chant Hare Krishna and be happy, because he knew with the time it will be effective and it will transform the people. Yes, Adi Prabhu.
Yeah. Hare Krishna, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Hello?
I hope so, because otherwise
Yeah,
that
in the
means they didn't hear
temple,
anything of the class.
we have to ask
No,
Ananda.
I'm listening.
Oh, you're listening, they can hear it, okay.
Yes, sir.
He asked a wonderful question about where do you get it? And in one sense, it's important to understand how this love manifests, but it's not something added on like a coat of paint. It's our nature. We are loving beings, and it's an uncovering process or leading out something that's already there within us. And it's a cultivation. And it says, what is it? What's that expression? Love it. Love is what you do. I'm trying to get the phrase. Love is as love does. If we do loving things, we practice, we cultivate, we reawaken our dormant love for God by certain activities. It manifests more and more. Our natural loving propensity becomes solidly more obvious. It's not that we have to add anything, that we have to get it from someplace. But like Prabhu was saying, we become like who we associate with. We put a piece of iron in the fire, it becomes hot, it becomes just like fire, and then you touch this piece of paper and the paper bursts into flames. The iron has become fire. So he said, so we associate with those who are loving, who are serving Krishna. And it's not just mundane love, it's love for Krishna. It's bhakti. It's and a person who reawakens, when we reawaken our love for Krishna, our genuine affection for every other living entity is simultaneously awakened. At least that's what Rupa Goswami tells us. Anyway, it's there, and Prabhu is explaining everything very carefully. We're just emphasizing, reflecting what he said. Well, glory to Srila Prabhupada.
Yasoda Dulal Prabhu, there's a question from Poppy. Poppy, unmute yourself. Say it. It's an important question.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you so much for the wonderful class. I had a question regarding how do I, when I struggle to see the difficult people in my life, whether it's in work setting or family and friends, how do I remember that they're parts and parcel of Krishna and remember to still love them?
What is the question exactly?
Sure, I can rephrase it again. So the question was, how do I remember to love difficult family members or friends or just difficult people in general? And that sometimes I struggle to remember that they are parts and parcel of Krishna. So how do I remember to still love them, or do I need to love them?
Yes, you need to love them.
Mm.
You need to remember who they are. They are like you. Like Prabhu was saying, did you see the Krishna Prem? We have that capacity to love Krishna. It's there in our heart. And there is no bad soul. It doesn't exist. There are only good souls. The soul is, by nature, the dynamic of the soul is love. So just some souls are covered and they have forgotten this. And we should be sorry for them. That's how love uh, expresses itself with people who don't love. We understand that actually they are suffering more. They're suffering more than you. So you should be compassionate and be sorry for them and desire them to understand. People who have falsely embraced a negative mood or unkindness, they suffer because they don't understand who they are. They don't understand that Krishna loves them. They don't understand that they should love also. They suffer a lot. So when we see someone suffering a lot, we should be sorry for that person. We should be willing to help this person. And we should tolerate the bad thing that this person does and not stopping to love this person because of that.
Thank you. What's the fine line between still loving them and not having them walk over me? Is there a fine line?
The fine line is you have to love them. There is no love means giving without expecting anything in return.
Mm.
So this is a complete thing. Love is something complete. And you don't expect what if you're expecting something in return, that's not love. Love means you don't expect in return. If someone is bad with you still, you love him. You can't behave with that person in the same way because he doesn't understand your love. So you
Mm.
have to take to keep some distance from that person, but still you have to love them.
So love from distance and with boundaries.
Yeah, that's what Krishna does.
Which he sees in your loving way. What you say with being.
Can you see the curtain? Yes, okay.
Yeah.
Jai Shri Ram
Jai Shri Shivana Muridhar, Shri Gaurachandra Ki Jai, Yasoda Dulal Prabhu Ki Jai. Wonderful class. One time there was an unscrupulous businessman that Srila Prabhupada had to deal with in India. They were trying to cheat him out of the property that the devotees had purchased. And Srila Prabhupada was suing the guy like anything. There was a big fight, big lawsuit. And when the guy died, Srila Prabhupada was happy. He rejoiced. He said, yes, Krishna took him. Did Srila Prabhupada love that guy? Yeah, he loved Mr. Nair, but there were nuances. We don't want to imitate Srila Prabhupada, but this is the principle there. That if someone wants to fight, then we should offer them an opportunity to fight. We do it with love and devotion, but there are nuances, and Srila Prabhupada, by his personal example, showed us how to do it. Okay, anyone else wants to speak? This is my favorite part. I see your bright faces. Narottam Nitai, early riser. There he is.
Dandavats, Prabhuji. Yeah, I wanted to, hi. Just wanted to speak. A lot of time, well, not a lot of time. Sometimes Krishna takes away, and how? I guess I want to know something. How can we understand that if we're chanting Hare Krishna, we're doing, what we're supposed to do, we're taking shelter, and if we feel that we've been cheated, or like Krishna has taken something away from us, how can we be like, okay, like this is what Krishna's plan is, this is what he wants, and not to like hanker after what we already lost, but like just, I don't know, like come to that acceptance. Because I mean, some, like, I know there's examples of devotees and acharyas that have gone through. I mean, I'm not at that level, but I was saying there's devotees that have come to the Hare Krishna temple and they feel they lose a lot of things. But I guess for their benefit. I don't know if that makes a good question. How do we understand that it's for our benefit? Yeah.
Thank you, Narottam Nitai Prabhu. Who wants to answer this question? That's a tough one. That's a curveball. I have a friend. He brought me to Krishna consciousness. He preached to me. He tolerated me, and then he eventually stopped practicing. He became very offensive and inimical towards bhakti. And he said that he came to the movement with certain expectations which were not met. In other words, his intention, from the way I understand it, was he came to the movement to receive, to give, to take, to fulfill some desires. That's was his intention. But then the devotee somehow or other failed to fulfill his desires in some ways, and he felt cheated, and he deviated. He's now offensive. I stopped talking to him. He's just very offensive. But when our intention in joining Krishna, when our intention is to give, is to serve, not to take necessarily, then there's no way we can be cheated. How can you cheat someone whose intention is to serve and give? How can you cheat a person like that? That's my 5 cents. Bhima Prabhu, you are on the poll. You are the senior one here. You want to speak on Narottam Nitai Prabhu's question? You ever felt cheated? It's one thing when Krishna is taking away your grandma, something like that. That's kind of nature. That those things will happen. We shouldn't feel cheated when those things happen. It's material world after all. Everything will be taken away, either by Krishna or by Maya. Things will be taken away. It's normal here. Cheated is when we have expectations that aren't necessarily pure and right. And it's usually within our heart that we have to find the source of this feeling of being cheated. It's usually us. It's usually us failing to fulfill our potential. It's usually us. We're hiding from something. The problem is
expecting anything.
Yeah, Bhima Prabhu, finally. I can stop blabbing now.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
If you're not expecting anything, then you cannot be cheated. It's
That's
in
right.
one direction. It's like the sun. The sun's not asking the earth to thank him. All right? The sun doesn't say after billions of years, look what I've done for you. The sun just gives. So that's like love. It's very difficult. It's very difficult. We're so used to wanting tit for tat. The whole world, especially Western mentality, is a business mentality. It's in our very consciousness. Love is not what we've been told love is through our media, through our stories. Love is something entirely different. It's actually a strange thing to the majority of us. It's like, it's surrender. It's the willingness actually to be beaten in 32 marketplaces. Each one of those marketplaces is a day of the month, because Krishna is going to hand it down to you. Martin Luther King said, we not only have to carry our cross, but in the end, we have to be crucified on it as well. That cross is love. And when you love Krishna, if you look at all the stories in the Bhagavatam, whether it be Prahlad or Dhruva or any number of kings who turn towards Krishna, in the end, why? Because Krishna enjoys the cruelty of beating us, or that he's chosen to glorify us by virtue of showing this great tolerance called love, this great surrender called love, this great annihilation of our ego, false ego, called love. That, like the sun, you give, you give, never mention it once. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Bhima Prabhu. Very profound. Love may include some pain sometimes, some separation, some fear, even. That all is included. If Krishna is in the picture, then it's love. It may have aspects and shades. It's such a profound thing, love for Krishna. Okay, Poppy.
Sharmila put a question on the chat, which I'm very curious about. She said, how do we know that how do we feel or know Krishna's love for us?
How do we know?
How do we know or feel Krishna's love for us? Especially when there's this follow-up conversation when we feel like, it's like, why me, Krishna? How do we feel the love in those moments when we question Krishna, why me?
Thank you, Poppy. Thank you, Sharmila. Who wants to speak on that. One time Srila Prabhupada asked his disciples, you guys are surrendering, you're doing service. How do you know that Krishna is real? He loves you. How do you know that? And the devotees started giving their answers. One devotee said, oh, that's because Krishna says so in the Bhagavad Gita. That's how I know. Then another devotee, and Srila Prabhupada said, no. And so the devotees started coming up with different answers. And then finally, somebody raised their hand and said, I know that Krishna is real because I experienced that. I feel it in my heart. His reciprocation. And Srila Prabhupada said, yes, that's the answer. We know that Krishna is real because we experience him, his love and his reciprocation. And his personal servant, Shrutakirti Prabhu, he kind of marked it down. He took note of that answer. And then when they went to the next place, Srila Prabhupada asked another group of devotees the same question. How do you know? And nobody could give the right answer. And then finally, Shrutakirti Prabhu, he was feeling tempted to, and he raised his hand and he said, I know the answer. I know that Krishna is real because I feel it. And Srila Prabhupada said, no, wrong. It's not the answer. We know, and Srila Prabhupada said then, we know that Krishna is real because Krishna says so in the Bhagavad Gita. Srila Prabhupada was a jokester. And there's no way you can figure out an acharya, spiritual master, what they're going to say or do. There's no way you can calculate that. It's always transcendental. So that's one way how we can answer Sharmila's question. How do I know? We know it because that happens in our life. We see it happen in the lives of other devotees, and also Krishna says so in the Shastra. We know it by Srila Prabhupada's example. Srila Prabhupada came. He crossed over the ocean. He had several heart attacks. He translated those books and made them available to us here in our gutter, the gutter of our consciousness. That's an act of love from Krishna, who sent his representative. Okay, it's Bhima Prabhu.
Thank you, that was very helpful.
I can't believe he tuned out. I can't believe. We went so high and so deep and he tuned out. Chastise him. Okay, was that helpful, Poppy?
Yes, it was very helpful. Thank you so much.
Okay, great, wonderful.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Yeah, I basically wanted to. How do you feel it? Sometimes we don't feel that love when Krishna reciprocates, and sometimes we are so blocked.
You don't feel it, go to Shastra. Or do service, or go to someone who feels it. Go to someone like Yasoda Dulal and worship them and serve them, and that love will rub onto you. When it's like when we feel empty and when we feel lack of inspiration to serve, we just have to use our backbone. Where's the backbone? Where's the commitment? Is it all just sentimental? I'm only serving when I feel like serving. I'm only serving when I'm comfortable. No, for the most part, yes, you have to be happy in your service and your nature has to be included in that. But sometimes the backbone is needed.
Thank you.
Backbone.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
And intelligence to figure out how can I arrange my life in such a way that I have access to devotees always when I need it. That's our part. Krishna is there, like the shower is on, but it's our job to step under the shower. And maybe, I don't know, that's individual, but we have to make certain arrangements externally to make sure that we are under the shower at all times.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah, cool. Thank
Hare
you,
Krishna.
Shantanu. Okay, Siham is asking a question in the chat. But sometimes your desires are not pure. Yeah, true. So, but we have to start somewhere. It's like when we want something material, it's better to ask Krishna for it than a demigod or a karmic employer. It's better to start somewhere. It's okay to start. Bhagavad Gita says there are 4 categories of people who come to Krishna. And one of them, the most kind of the major one is the ones who are suffering. being free from suffering is not, it's a desire that is not ultimately pure. You know? We want something for ourselves. We want to not suffer. But that's where we start. That's a good start, I would say. Krishna says so. That's a good start. When our desires are not pure, but they are directed at Krishna, that's a good way to start. Krishna says in the Gita. I guess to make sure that reciprocation is there when you are on the same page with a lover. That is always true with Krishna's love. Yeah. We want to be on the same page with Krishna, which is the page of Srimad Bhagavatam. That's how we are on the same page. Read Srimad Bhagavatam, get on the same page with Krishna and his devotees. When I was joining the movement, I remember I loved the devotees. I had no idea what the philosophy was, but I loved the people. And my thinking was, how can I get closer to them? How can I become one of them? How can I be accepted in that family? And somebody told me you have to chant 16 rounds every day. And I had no desire, and I still don't have any desire to chant, but that brings me closer to the devotees somehow or other. I am considered a part of the family, in that way. So we have to start somewhere. How do I know that someone loves you is when you think they fulfill your desires. How do I know that someone loves you? We've already talked about that. We experience that. And then when we don't experience that, we go to Shastra, or we go to someone who experiences that. When you think they fulfill your desires. Siham, you wanna clarify a little bit for me? Because I'm not very, so you have to be very.
There's a sequence. Poppy asked the question, how do you know that Krishna loves you? I put in the chat, you can ask the same question about a human being. Like, how do you know that your brother or your wife or husband loves you? Is when you think they're fulfilling your desires and doing exactly what you want them to do. But sometimes your desires are not pure, so they're not fulfilling them, so you think they're not loving you. So that's why I said in my third comment is really to make sure that you're on the same page with them, either through communication, but when it comes to spiritual love, I think it's through the scriptures, you know exactly what to expect and what is expected from you. Is really to have that, align, then you can experience the love, you can receive it, you can feel it. So that was my point. And I guess when yourself and Bihari Prabhu, you spoke, I felt like we were in some sort of alignment in the understanding. But please feel free to correct me if my understanding is inaccurate.
It's perfect, Sam. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, love is not necessarily, it's transactional in the beginning, but it meant to reach the level where we don't expect. And it's much more relishable and enjoyable when you love Krishna indiscriminately, whether he's handling you roughly or whether he's arranging things the way you would want them to kind of play out. You still love him, still remember him. Because sometimes when things are good, we tend to forget Krishna. And when things are bad, we tend to blame Krishna. So we're meant to, through chanting and reading about Krishna and associating with those who are a little bit more advanced than us, then we're meant to transcend that level and come to the level of love that does not discriminate. Like Lord Chaitanya says in the Shikshashtakam, I have no expectations, and you can handle me. You can handle me roughly if you like, no problem. I'm still your sold out servant. That's what Lord Chaitanya teaches us. That's ultimate level. But we have to start somewhere. You can come to the temple if you want to eat nicely. Prasadam is a good starting point. Or you love kirtan, you love dancing, or you have a crush on somebody who goes to the temple, or whatever it may be, anything. If Krishna is there in the picture, it's a good place to start. That's okay. Karen, thank you for bringing your children. What are your takeaways, Karen? She started blinking. Karen, I put you on the spot.
I know. I'm taking it all away. I feel like you know, there's a lot of things that like, I'm like, yeah, definitely, absolutely. But then there's like, you know, integrating that into the moment of life, you know, which is like, that's, I guess, kind of where I don't know, I find difficulties in that, like, the sort of intellectual understanding of something, and then being able to apply that in a moment where it's relevant. Which I think just for me, sorry, I'm not, I'm going off here, but I think just for me, like, yeah, I mean, chanting, meditating, kind of getting more connected in a personal way, like spending time personally with Krishna, maybe allows that to become more accessible in daily life and like difficult kind of personal struggles with, you know, like Poppy was mentioning, friends and family, are difficult people, you know, not getting triggered, this kind of thing. um and like, yeah, remembering to that somebody is like you or part and parcel to Krishna when you're not really feeling that for whatever reason at the moment, how to kind of keep that at the front of my memory in those moments is, even with my kids, right? You know, like I, you know, getting frustrated with kids, like frustrated with relationships. I find that sometimes the remembering these important things, um, and this snail here is trying to listen apparently to this this topic. Anyways, we've got snails on the call today. um, yeah, so that's my takeaway.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Karen. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for this discussion, dear devotees. Thank you very much. Thank you for tolerating us. When you have difficulty tolerating somebody, like a family member, and it's always good to remember that somebody is tolerating us in the same way. So we should tolerate sometimes. It shouldn't be like a frying pan. You can't have 90% of unpleasant people around you. It can be 3, 4, 5% unpleasant that can be tolerated, and then the rest, those have to be favorable and you know, devotional. But tolerance sometimes is necessary, and Srila Prabhupada tolerates our foolishness. Krishna tolerates our foolishness, so we should also tolerate when we have to sometimes.
And he called us rascals.
Rascal, yeah, we're rascals. Yeah, so we should tolerate. We should tolerate. It's our duty to be kind and tolerate. Like Poppy said, we shouldn't let them walk all over us. 3% is a good ratio of unpleasant people in our life. Yeah, even if they want to walk over us, it's just 3%. You know, let them have it. 3%, it's okay. I can tolerate. Because I know that in the evening I'll go to the temple and I'll have the association that nourishes me, where I can be myself. I can easily tolerate some unpleasant people here and there. All right, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama. Thank you very much. This is the highlight of our day. I know when we are in class, we're not in Maya. I know that for a fact. So that's a safe space for us. Thank you for providing that. And have a wonderful day. Remember, Krishna, come again tomorrow. Thank you for your association. Haribol.